Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. We've been doing Grim Reapers now for 9 years, and without doubt the most requested reenactment you guys asked for is the famous 1942 Doolittle Raid, but we've never been able to do it. We've got as close as we can. As you can see here, we've done modernised 2030 version of a Doolittle Raid with a B-21 Raider, and then we've done a version with Hercules or Hercules gunships. But we finally, in August 2025, got the assets we need in sea power now to do it properly. So today we're going to do a proper one-to-one scale, minute-to-minute, mile-to-mile version of the Doolittle Raid, and we'll talk about it as we go. I should quickly credit Selena, Texas, that made the mod to be able to do this, which is not available yet, so I can't link it. So first, a bit about the real raid. On the 18th of April 1942, USS Hornet launched 16 B-25B Mitchell medium bombers, each with a crew of 5, which flew west for Japan. There was no fighter escort. After bombing military and industrial targets, the crew were to continue westward to land in China. It served as an initial retaliation for the attack on Pearl Harbor the previous December and provided an important boost to American morale. The raid was named after General Colonel James Doolittle, who planned and led the attack. On the ground, the raid killed around 50 people and injured 400. Damage to Japanese military and industrial targets was minimal, but the raid had major psychological effects. In the United States, it raised morale. In Japan, it raised fear and doubt about the ability of the military leaders to defend the home islands. But the bombing and strafing of civilians created a desire for retribution, which was exploited for propaganda purposes. The raid also pushed forward Admiral Yamamoto's plans to attack Midway Island in the Central Pacific, an attack that turned into a decisive defeat of the Imperial Japanese Navy by the US in the Battle of Midway. The consequences of the Doolittle Raid were most severely felt in China, however, who helped and supported the Americans. In reprisal for the raid, the Japanese launched a campaign killing 250 Chinese civilians and 70,000 Chinese soldiers. So, here we go viewers. As I said, it's going to be an exact mile-to-mile, minute-to-minute, if we can get it working, and we may not be able to, representation of the real raid. What we've got here is we start at, I'll convert Zulu time to local time. Bearing in mind, times are local to the time zone that we're in. So we've had to do a lot of backtracking and figuring out which time zone needs to be used for which time. It's kind of confusing, but we think we've got it. So we start here at 1952. We've moved everything forward exactly 10 years because sea power the sim we're using can't do 1942, it can do 1952. April, and this is the 16th we start on. We're at 0838 local time at this time zone here. We're 1,550 nautical miles, or nearly 2,000 land miles east of Japan. So, unpause, we start here, 16th of April 1942. After their final refuelling, 2 carriers, Hornet and Enterprise. Here is Hornet. We're not going to be modelling Enterprise because we don't have the Enterprise that we need, and it wouldn't be relevant for today anyway, with 3 heavy cruisers. Salt Lake City, Northampton, Vincennes, and light cruiser Nashville left their destroyer escorts and oilers and dashed east. They're just been refueled, obviously, at 20 knots. I meant west. West. That'd be interesting if we got that wrong, guys. Toward their intended launch point in the enemy-controlled waters of the east of Japan. Right, just about got that right. So, let's see what we've got here. The oilers and escorts are modelled here. They're now sailing away back to more friendly waters. Here is our strike group. As I said, it was Hornet and Enterprise, but Enterprise did not play a part in the actual action, so it's just going to be Hornet and her 4 cruisers. Guys, let's get underway. So first thing I'm going to do is go to the actual coordinate they went to, which was here. We need to get to the right speed, so let's try and get that done. Let's try full. Let's see what that gives us. All right, that's it. Now, unless we actually want to sit here, guys, for 3.5 days, which I don't want to, we're going to start speeding things up. You can see the B-25 Mitchells, we'll be talking about them, but let's just try and get this first bit right. Now, we need to get the right speed, and we need to get at the right timing for everything to be timing accurate, so let's try and get that done. See if we can get 20 knots, because everything's counted there, 19.8 knots, that's beautiful. So what we should now do is arrive at exactly the next coordinate that we should arrive exactly 48 hours later, which I'm aware is going to be weird and confusing, as we pass through an hour's time zone difference. Let's try and speed it up and see what happens. Why that coordinate there? Because of course that's the next point of action, should we say, that happened. Now, of course, Japan had a ring of vessels, picket vessels, early warning vessels, I guess is the best way of describing them, 650 nautical miles out from the Japan mainland, and we can see some of those here, and of course, famously, we're going to bump into that one there. And that's it, guys. You can see time winding down, and I can't speed it up anymore, so we're going to have to sit and wait. From you guys at home, I'll probably just skip this bit. And slowing down. Right, viewers, it's passed in about 10 minutes for us, and we've had a bit of a chat. Now the time is... Right, let's try and get this right. It is the 18th of April, 1952, by which I mean 42, for the reasons we explained earlier. It's now 07, so 2 days have passed pretty much. Sailing at 20 knots, 04, local. We are about 60 miles away from this guy that we obviously know with hindsight we're about to bump into, but these guys don't know yet. Let's quickly read a bit of history of what happened now. So at 07:38, so that's probably going to work out pretty accurate, on the morning of the 18th, while the task force was still 650 nautical miles from Japan, it was sighted by a Japanese picket boat which radioed an attack warning to Japan. The boat was sunk by gunfire from Nashville. The chief petty officer who captained the boat killed himself rather than being captured, which was a bit weird and I don't understand, but you guys can fill me in on that. But Nashville picked up 5 survivors. So let's get that bit reenacted. Let's see how close we can get to 038, guys, anyway. Zooming forward, everything happens slowly in sea warfare, obviously, so 100 times speed. If you've got the macro view, that's where we are now, about 700 nautical miles, about 800 land miles away from Japan. Now, I haven't read to the detail as to what formation they would be in, and they probably wouldn't be in a formation like this. You would probably have Nashville as a picket, you know, 20, 30 miles out ahead, but I don't know what the answer is, so we'll just leave them as they are. Alright, well, I have indeed got my timings wrong. I apologise for that, viewers. I'm about an hour and 20 minutes later than real life, so I've got my calculations slightly wrong, and my time zone slightly wrong, which is a bit annoying, because I wanted to get it absolutely perfect, but it is what it is. Yeah, we're about 2 hours behind the real raid. Never mind. Anyway, slow down. Oh no, we've spotted a picket ship. The captain has radioed in. We need to sort it out. Nashville is 100% going to open fire. So, guys, let's just go free fire. You free fire. Let's wipe the sky out as quickly as possible, because we need to try and get back on track, guys. We're using light cruisers, British light cruisers, because we don't have American cruisers in sea power yet, but that's okay. We'll make do. That's a possible conflict of interest about to happen there. No, evasive action. Oh, wow. Get some. Down he goes. Alright, picket ship. Nashville will rush off and take on survivors. Doolittle and the Hornet skipper, Captain Mark Meacher, decided to launch the B-25s immediately, 10 hours early and 170 nautical miles further from Japan than was planned, and really at the limit of the B-25 fuel range. After some extremely hair-raising takeoffs, they flew at wave-top level to avoid detection. So that's where we are now, guys. We're going to start getting these guys airborne. What we're going to do is, the hair-raising experience was they all had to be on deck because they couldn't go below deck, and the front guys had to take off with as short takeoff as possible, and that was Doolittle himself. Guys, I'm going to leave you in the background to explain how these B-25s were modified to do what they were about to do, because in normal configuration they could not have, while I try and get them taking off, and it will be a bit glitchy, but it should work, guys.
Yeah, but what they do, they try to make them as light as they can, putting basically every little bit of weight out they can, including all the guns but the top ball turret. Put broomsticks that they painted black in everywhere they were guns missing, to deter enemy fighters coming in. Lighten the bomb load from 3,000 pounds down to 1,000 pounds, being for 2,000 pounds being 4 500-pound bombs instead of a free 1,000 B-25s can carry. And to then widen range, they put fuel bladders in every little crank they could do to further range, and even put, I think, jerry cans in.
Wow.
With oil to emergency replenish oil if they need.
Yeah, so these were super highly modified planes for one purpose only.
Don't forget, they flown with 5 guys instead of the, I think, 7 crew they could go up with.
Yeah.
They also modified the bomb sight. Went very old school.
Roger.
Yeah, because the Norton one, they don't want to get that loose, you know. Either because of the technology, they don't want to get that fall into enemy hands, and also the Norton was far heavier.
Yes, good point, guys.
Even the radio they removed.
Wow. Imagine how friggin' brave you'd have to be able to do this, knowing as well that you were taking off pretty much outside your fuel endurance because of the thing that just happened. Absolute crazy, guys.
Yeah, they almost doubled their fuel capacity because of the modifications they did.
Yeah, but don't forget, we talked about, I think back when they had like 3 or 4 fleet carriers. At one point in time, after the Japanese sunk Hornet and the others, only Enterprise was left in the Pacific Theater. So imagine if they lost Hornet already in that battle, so they really got maximum distance, and once they were detected, the captain known he needed to get the chef out of there. It was just a call of Doolittle. Do we launch the raid or we just don't?
Roger, guys. Right, so they flew actually in groups of 5, I believe, but we're going to do 4 because it just works better in sea power. We're going to do the 650 miles at 500 feet as per real life. Let's try and get that done now. So we're going to have you, sir. Please head that way. And we're doing all this live. We've not pre-tested their viewers. We really don't know what's going to happen. We've calculated real life they flew at 130 knots to save fuel, so we're going to fly at 130 knots if we can get it working.
One thing you might also should talk about, it was an elite group of B-25 pilots, actually the squadron who first flown with B-25 in the Army Air Force. Not like the Pearl Harbor movie that depicted that fighter pilots flown with B-25 into that. It were the elite of the bomber pilots America had at that point.
Roger. So we're on our way, 650 miles. We're 2 hours behind schedule. We'll see if we can make it up. If we'll speed up if we have to. Now it takes 5 hours to get to. It took 5 hours to get to Tokyo. So let's see how that goes. Let's speed that lot up. So what would have been 0? Let's say they left at 9 o'clock. 6 plus 9 is 3. So there should be arriving about 3. PM, but then we've got to adjust for the time change, and you're going backwards in time zones, so it's going to be 2 or is it going to be 4? God, this is so damn confusing.
One thing to note is we talked about they carry each 4 500-pound bombs. That 4 500 pounds were specially constructed for that raid to be as lightweight as possible for 500-pound bombs. And they carried 3 high explosive and 1 incendiary per aircraft.
Alright guys, coming up to 11 local, which is local to this time zone here. So it's going to be 10 o'clock, so it's going to be 9 o'clock in Japan at the moment. And I got it wrong, it took 6 hours. 6 hours to make the journey, not 5 hours.
Can you imagine Cap flying at relatively moderate speed but relatively low over all that water, and known after that raid, it's not sure that you even can land?
Well, yes, absolutely, of course, because they weren't going back to the carrier. The carrier fleet in real life turned east and got the chuff out of there. I can't make it do that because sea power. So the plan was, of course, to attack the targets and then go to China and land in China here, because there was no fuel to get back to the ship. So I'm going to try and model that as best we can. We don't know how it's going to go. We're going to see. We're now up to, we're 10:30 local, so 9:30 in Japan now. Alright guys, that's 11 o'clock local to the aircraft, 10 o'clock in Japan. Check their range. Their predicted range ring says they should still be able to meet their airbase in China, so fuel is still just about good, even though we had to take off 170 miles early.
Cool thing, many of B-25s of the raid had their own nicknames. my favorites are probably like Bat Out of Hell or Avenger, Green Hornet. Like, they all had like great names.
I like Green Hornet. 11:30 now, local to these guys here. Alright, we're now halfway there, guys. So that was 650 nautical miles. We're now about 320 nautical miles. Coming up to midday local to us. Nothing's gone wrong yet. Viewers, nothing's gone wrong yet.
I hope they had enough coffee on that flight.
Right? There are a lot of PPs.
I'm just thinking, you're flying, we talk about 1942. Aviation is still just only about 40 years old, yeah? You're flying in a 2-engine bomber, it's buzzing, you're flying low over the sea, you don't know if you reach any landing point where you can land, if you can get like captured by the enemy, or you land in friendly territory, if you even get off your bombs or you get intercepted, all bad things playing along, you know?
Yeah, a lot of proper hero moves here. Right, we're at 1200 now, local to us. We should be arriving at Japan at 1400. My history serves me correct. So we've got 2 more hours of flying to go. Check how far we've gone now. We are 2/3 of the way there, guys. We're getting there. How long's it been for us? It's been about 50 minutes for us now.
I wonder if they ever said, "Are we there yet?"
I bet
on this flight.
Every bomber raid ever made. No, I'll come back to that. It's fine.
The thing is, they all were on the radio silence, but I bet if I could have had, they were like asking Doolittle, "Are we there yet?"
Yeah.
No, they're with their own crew. I'm pretty sure they did that.
Yeah, in verbal. Yeah, 12:30 hours. Local time zone. Distance is now 220 nautical miles to Tokyo.
Imagine we would do our DCS missions all under radio silence, and we're doing our typical GR formation as close as we can. God's sake, it would never end good.
We did do one big milsim mission, complete radio silence, about 2 hours, and we decided we're not doing that again. Alright, we are 1300 hours, 1 hour to go to Tokyo. Check how far we are. We are 5/6 of the way there. No one's run out of fuel, no one's dropped out, no one's crashed. Computer hasn't crashed, everything's going well so far.
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
Why are you saying that?
Can't help it. I am who I am, guys.
T-minus 5 minutes, Cap PC decided to go with thermal. I don't know.
Oh my god, someone's turned around. No! Oh, he's reached his steer point. Oh, I thought that was it. I thought that was game over, guys. Oh.
I thought for a second.
The timing.
That was a close one, viewers. That was a close one. Right. Yeah. As you probably realise, we're doing this live and we don't really know how to get this to work. Seapower is not designed to do whatever it is, 2,500 mile raids.
Yeah, and what many don't know, Cap's PC is not really the greatest.
No.
We talked about it like recently. We need to get Cap's PC upgrade once he has some money left. We're just hoping Cap's PC will not thermal reconfigure itself in the meantime.
For all that delays and stuff we had, guys, we're going to arrive in Tokyo at exactly the right time. 1400 we should be arriving. It's now 1320, so not friggin' bad, viewers. Bear in mind we've been going for a day and a half, no, 2.5 days. Shit.
One is circling.
Just do what you're friggin' told. Alright, well, he's going to be late. He's going to be a late bloomer.
Right. Fits the story. One actually struggled getting there.
Yes, 100% did. 96 miles to go, guys. And we can probably see mainland Japan. No, I take that back, we can't. But we will soon. Mount Fuji, we are coming. So, let's talk about what we're going to do, viewers. So, history. The aircraft began arriving over Japan 6 hours after launch, climbed to 1,500 feet and bombed 10 military and industrial targets in Tokyo, 2 in Yokohama, 1 in Yokosuka, 1 in Nagoya, 1 in Kobe and 1 in Osaka. Although some B-25s encountered light anti-aircraft fire and a few enemy fighters, made up of Ki-45s and Ki-61s over Japan, no bomber was shot down. B-25 number 4 jettisoned its bombs before reaching its target when it came under attack by fighters after its gun turret malfunctioned. Right, so now I've got to go and do all that, viewers. So, Let's try and get this right. I need 10 to bomb the 10 targets in Tokyo. So, who's the leader? Him. Go up to, where's his altitude? 1,000 will have to do for us. And go to Japan. We're going to attack the targets there. I need some more. So, we've got 4 here. Go there. Go up to 1,000 feet will have to do for us. We've got 3 here. I don't know where the other one's gone. There, go there. And go 1,000 feet. See my little brain trying to work this out as a go, viewers. We've got 3 here. Can attack these targets down here. Yeah, basically I don't really know what I'm doing. This guy's somehow got his own steer point. Can I make him rejoin his formation, Fly?
Yes, you can. And if you click on him and say join formation.
Yeah, done. Okay, somehow got left behind, but that's fine. Alright, getting them a little closer. They're all going up to bombing altitude.
They came in to avoid detection wave top level, yeah? And they climbed to 1,500 feet. For all your Europeans with normal units, that's 500 meters. That's not really a high for a bombing raid.
Not at all, is it, guys? Why was it reckoned it just favoured accuracy?
Yeah, and basically they came in to not be detected, but when they needed to climb to find the target, but they don't want to climb very high to avoid being catched by fighters, because if you climb you're getting slow, right?
Roger. Alright, what I've got to do is assign the targets now, so I'm going to pause it. I'm going to take these guys. I'm going to break the formation out. So formation, disband. So you take your bombs. A bit boring, viewers, but I need to attack the target in Kobe. Sorry for the pronunciations. You attack the target in Osaka. Osaka, please. Attack that target there. You next, please attack the target in Nagoya. Nagoya, south of Tokyo. There. You. There are 2 targets in Yokohama, which is that target and that target there. So you go there. You go there. Less south of Tokyo. Right, and that should leave us 10 aircraft to bomb the targets in Tokyo itself, which are here. So you go that one there. If I get this right, then I'll eat my friggin' hat, guys. You, disband formation. You attack the target. There. Right, unpause. Everything's split into 16. They're all going for their real-life targets and the real actual locations. At the real-life time, I hope if I haven't messed it up, which I'm sure I have, but I've tried not to. I don't know what speed they would have gone at this point, but probably a lot faster than they're going. But they're going to do what they want to do now because they're bombing. Bomb baby's open.
As fast as I can to avoid the trip, right. I guess.
I would agree too, but I'm now worried if I do that, I'm going to mess something up. So I'm just going to leave them as they are. Probably should have assigned targets a little bit later on. Oh dear. Oh dear. I've missed one. I missed one, guys. Well, one of the targets.
Waiting for targets.
One of the target is not going to be bombed. So, I got my. Damn it! Why is everything so difficult? I've messed one of the targets up down here, obviously. So this guy will be one of those. So I'll send him down there. We'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. Right, Tokyo's about to be bombed.
Also interesting thing, Cap, is Doolittle considered other aircraft from the raid, yeah? Speaking B-26 Marauders, B-23s, B-18s. Things that were Marauder is quite similar to the 25 as a two-engine medium bomber, fast, but had questionable takeoff characteristics. The 23 and 18 were 50% bigger in wingspan, so couldn't fit on the aircraft carrier without hitting the structure. So we needed to take the 25.
He didn't drop his bombs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sea Power, I believe. Please drop the bombs, didn't drop his bombs. God damn it, I try, viewers, I try and I try and I try. There's only so much I can...
They feel under attack, so they
didn't drop their bombs and they went in the wrong speed and the wrong altitude. Right, viewers, what do I do at this point? Because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Most games I play don't mess up this bad.
Might be the altitude as well.
Yeah.
Right, I'll try forcing them to the right altitude. which I did before, by the way.
Save them, cease fire, and re-attack the targets.
So this guy's going to try. Right, whatever I do, it's not going to do the altitude I want.
Yeah, same ceasefire cap first. Here we go. Now try again.
Gonna dive right back down again. No, I can't do it. Oh, that's a shame, viewers. Right, we're gonna pause. I can't. They're clearly not going to work. They're not going to do it. So I'm going to make them bypass the target, and we're going to have to pretend if I just fly over the target, that's going to have to be good enough. Obviously, I take it right back. Something blew up. Something's on fire. These guys haven't. Right.
Again, put them on ceasefire cap. Send them to a higher.
Every one of these on ceasefire and do it all again. Right, okay.
Yes, sir.
Like that.
Can't put blank sea power. Easy is not an option.
Never is.
I don't know which one's bombed and which one hasn't. How do I even know which one's bombed? Right. I have asked them to go back and attack. I guess they have to go on that big bomb run. These guys must have bombed, so they can go that way now. Because I'm afraid to say it's just never easy. This guy must have finished, so you can go that way now.
We never get the easy option, or when we get the easy option, we immediately get the nuclear option. Hey.
Shot down. God damn.
Here's nuclear option. This week we're recording this, meaning on the 21st we're doing another nuclear option PvP mission. So everyone who wants to join can join us. They just come onto the GR Discord. There's the nuclear option path, and look in there all the information you need to do. And venue out there also considered to be a Patreon for Cap, so you can keep the stuff here running.
Right. Sorry viewers, I've tried my hardest, but you know, I just don't have the control I want. Never mind, we're going to have to improvise, guys. 15 of the 16 aircraft then proceeded southwest off the coast of Japan across the East China Sea. One B-25, piloted by Captain Edward J. York, was extremely low on fuel and headed instead for the Soviet Union rather than be forced to ditch in the middle of the East China Sea. None would have reached China if not for a tailwind as they came off target, which increased their ground speed by 25 knots for 7 hours. The crews realised they would probably not be able to reach their intended bases in China, leaving them the option of either bailing out over the East China Sea or crash landing along the Chinese coast. Well, let's get that done, guys. So you're going to cease fire. So
they also did.
Yes?
Cap is dropping everything they could at them.
Right.
What they not needed to keep in the air, they thrown out, including bomb sight, the last guns they hit in there. Anything they could throw out, they throw out. Right.
So what I'm doing now is we're going to assume that the game did what I wanted, which was that they were bombed at a decent altitude and decent speed and released their bombs. And then we're going to have the Pseudo-15 heading towards China. There we go, that's them all done. Speed up. Alright. So imagine all 15 sites have been bombed beautifully. Chubba chubba. This guy is 2, he already knows he hasn't got the fuel to go to China. So this is York. And he's going instead to Vladivostok here, an air base 40 kilometers north of Vladivostok here. That's actually Russia, that's not China. Russia comes all the way down here. Bloody enormous place. Let's see where we are. Is the carrier still in? The carrier's still in. Off we go, boys. All 15 aircraft reaching the Chinese coast after 13 hours. Jesus, 13 hours? 13 hours of flight and crash landed. Because none of them made it to the base that they were trying to get to. They crash landed on or near the coast, or they bailed out before they crash landed. Look at their fuel range ring. They literally can't reach the base. The 16th aircraft flew to the Soviet Union and landed at a base, or near a base, Vladivostok, which is that base there. So they got about the right range modelled, so that all worked well, guys, with this guy. But yeah, look, he just reaches that base, as he did in real life. So that's pretty cool. The mission was the longest ever flown in combat by the B-25 Mitchell medium bomber, averaging a staggering 2,250 miles. Let me say that again. 2,250 miles. All 16 B-25s were lost, 15 were destroyed, which is the 15 that are about to bail out along the coast here or crash land. One was in the one that actually landed in the Soviet Union base was interned. 3 of the men were killed trying to get out of their planes. 8 that landed were captured. 4 of those captured lived to be rescued and 4 died in captivity. The rest were aided by the Chinese, obviously, and the Russians or the Soviets to escape.
The Russians or Soviet Japanese attack was still going, so of course they couldn't help the Americans officially. So yeah, they landed officially, they got captured by the Russians, and officially they broke free. Tactical required vehicles drove through the whole country to Iran, where they self-presented as British consultants, and then got from there back to the Allies. Unofficially, the KGB, or the predecessor to the KGB, might help them.
Roger. You know. I think one good thing that's worked out is, look, when they're going to run out of fuel is exactly when they run out of fuel in real life, basically. So that's pretty cool. And this guy just has the fuel to get to Vladivostok, so that couldn't have worked out much better. We are now on the 18th of April 1942, and we're 1600 hours local to wherever the hell we are, probably still Japanese time.
Thing about Cap over that long distance without a radio, navigating, being over the water, see no land around you. You just hope you are in the right direction. Your compass really works.
Right.
And it's really exact. And you hope you have enough fuel to reach at least land.
This is why you absolutely had to have professional navigators in bomber raids. Well, that's it, guys. We've almost done 1,550 nautical miles. It's been nearly 3 days now, and our fuel consumption is looking dwindling. But we've stuck with it, all the problems we've encountered. Is there a way to force them to land at that base, Fly?
Yeah, go on the aircraft and say it's, there's a command that says change base. Rebase, yeah.
Alright, we're going back to base. We're going back to freaking base and we're going to land. I can't force them to land, can I? Yes, RTB, just RTB, don't I? Or does RTB? Yeah, well done. Okay, we're actually going to land at the base where you landed in real life. That's kind of cool. These guys, however, at whatever time it is now, 1500 local on the 18th, are all about to crash land. Maybe look, no, they're out of fuel. That's it. They're about to be crash landed, and hopefully they'll have some time to eject. Nah, they didn't have time to eject because I'm actually blowing them up. Well, that's the nearest we're going to get today, I'm afraid, viewers. But it is within a couple of tens of miles where it happened in real life. They've actually just run out of fuel. You can see the range ring, they've just run out of fuel. Oh, this guy's going to make it. This guy's going to make it to China. Keep going, sir.
That's the best we can do for limitations of the power.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it? It doesn't make it easy. But to be fair, it's not designed to do this, so we are, as ever, abusing the sim massively. This guy's going to make it. This guy, I'm going to try and eject him right over the coast, as per real life.
Yeah, so the East German politician once said, Cap, no one has the intent to build a wall, and these sims are really not meant to do what we ask them to do.
Not really, Fly. Not really. Jump out, boys! Okay! Beautiful ejection. The last guy goes down. Viewers, you asked us to do a full-scale Doolittle Raid, which sounded impossible and almost was impossible, but we've done 1,515 miles, as close to we could to the real times. It's not easy when you're factoring in all going through time zones and stuff and dealing with the UI of Sea Power, which is a naval simulator, not an aerial simulator. And so obviously the bombing didn't work, but we dropped a couple of bombs. We hit one of them, but we did the best we could. And I think I actually messed the target enough anyway, by the looks of it. But it's what it is. It's all recorded live. But we did genuinely make most of the planes to the areas they did, with the real fuel loads they did, with the real times they did, in the real places they did. I think that's as good as we're ever going to get. We'll never be able to do DCS because we'll never have the map big enough. So I think this is as close as we're going to get. We'll watch him land.
One day we might get the world map cap, soon TM in like 5 years.
I don't think I'm going to have a big enough hard disk for a world map. fly.
Yeah. It will have a poor resolution, I bet. So, like, think about more like what Microsoft Flight Simulator is. But I have a different thought. The B-25, yeah, was relatively new. This raid was, if not the first, one of the first bombing raids V-25 ever did actually in World War II, and it was really new. And later, to the Lend-Lease, the Russians get their hand on the B-25 actually. I wonder if Americans ever get or would have gifted the Russians B-25s or the Lend-Lease. If not, they already saw it or one needed to land.
That's the best we can do, viewers. I apologise for the problems, but it was always going to be problematic. I hope you enjoyed it otherwise, and bye-bye.